kind of advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness. Starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live. It's our Thursday episode. We got a lot lined up here. This is relevant business and insurance topics. That's what we're talking about every day at 11 o'clock. Thank you all for joining us. We want to aim to update, educate, and inform you weekly. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery. I want to get right in on a few topics, some of our focus today. Really some great news coming out of the UK. We haven't seen the decision yet, but if you're not tracking it from an insurance, you're in the insurance industry, you need to wake up and get ready, because the UK Supreme Court is said to be handing down a decision that is certainly going to be in favor of policyholders that have suffered business interruption losses in the wake of a pandemic. Certainly an important issue to our economy at a whole, and the tens of millions of dollars that are being held up and recoveries for a tremendous amount of businesses and that are awaiting decisions like these, not only in the UK, but this is an important decision because it is a court. It could set a certain precedent, or at least the tone for things to come. And here in the United States, we see cases that are in favor, that are not in favor. The pendulum is swinging back and forth on a daily basis. And, really when it gets down to it, it has to relate to what we're seeing here in the U.S. Each of these jurisdictions, each of these courts are finding particular facts and issues with coverage that are in favor or not for the policyholders that are making them. Some of it has to do with bad faith issues. A lot of times I have to say that these headlines from a lot of these reporters and outlets don't really give credence to the issues and the holdings and some of the opinions that are coming out, and are a little bit misleading at times. So it's important that you read through the issues. We're hoping here that we get a positive result out of the UK to, again, not that it may set a precedent here in the United States, but at least it sets the tone for what's to come, and a possibility that it may sway a judge that may be on the fence on an issue regarding physical damage on a property, whether or not someone actually had a virus on property, whether that coverage extends to ordinance that's been in place, physical change of the property, et cetera, et cetera. So all these things that we're tracking or we're following, obviously constantly going to be reporting on these issues, because we at GlobalPro represent thousands of business owners, and we want to make sure that they have the most relevant, up-to-date information. Well, here in the United States, Trump family getting the boot from Aon after this controversy at Capitol Hill, but it really extends back to a wider investigation that was into the Trump organization and some depositions that occurred years ago, mentioning and referring to an agent there. Details of that departure or divorce are coming out. Whether or not it's really relevant insurance news or whatnot, obviously in the wake of what occurred at the Capitol Hill, all our eyes are on the Trump and the Trump organization, Trump as a whole. So we'll see what happens here. Taxpayers, unfortunately, what went on at the Capitol will not be covered by insurance, and to the extent that there was damage in Capitol, expect that bill to be footed by all of us to not only repair what was damaged there, but obviously they want to update certain access to the Capitol areas in the wake of the horrible situation that unfolded that many of us watched on TV. So, but as it relates to insurance and business, there was some talks about how the federal government and how responds to these issues, and whether or not these places were insured. I actually had several people ask me that question. I certainly wanted to highlight it here that from what I'm reading, what I'm seeing, it's not. Not always the case, though. We did handle a number of actual claims, loss and damage to federal property after Superstorm Sandy in the Northeast. But these were properties that were actually operated by third parties, and they were required to buy insurance and add the federal government as an additional or interested insured on those policies. So not always the situation. If there's a third party operator there may still be coverage that will cover for loss and damage. But here with the capital situation, not going to be the case. But that's some bad news, some good trends going on with the COVID, the pandemic, some issues that we're seeing, obviously politics and insurance mixing a bit. But with some of the bigger news that were coming out of the insurance industry is really related to technology. Something now more formally referred to as Insurtech. There's been an enormous amount of money being raised by some companies that have really disrupted. There's really two categories, and one of those would be disruption. And then there's other companies that are offering products that are actually helping facilitate the actual insurance process, whether it's through acquiring new product or servicing that product. Even as much as Brown & Brown just recently acquired CoverHound. Big news, a lot of money. This is a company that raised $112 million just recently. So a lot of moving, a lot of shaking up of the industry, really centered around insurance. And I think it's something really relevant to us here at GlobalPro, because my next guest that will be joining me, Elliott Carter, VP of Technology, knows a thing or two about Insurtech and things that are going on and the trends in the community and in the industry and how they're impacting our community, rather. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the growing industry trends and also about GlobalPro's latest project. Since Mr. Carter, you certainly have your finger on the pulse of what we're going on here and things that are going on. It's good to see you. Love to see the collared shirt on and in the office there. So welcome, Elliot. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me today, Dan. This is really exciting. Thanks.
So I want to get into some of the issues, and some of the trends, issues that the technology are some issues that are being solved by this technology, and some of the trends. And so let's talking about trends. Where do you see the industry focusing right now, most as it relates to its investments and technology that we're seeing come to the market?
Sure. Well, I think what we're seeing and what we're noticing is that there are a lot of developments, both acquisitions, new companies forming, new companies entering the market in the space where they are providing more options to consumers. So think of it as like where car buying was a few years ago, right? Like the car buying process, it was this mysterious process. You didn't know if you were getting a fair deal or not. Well, now you've got these applications, these products, these companies that are kind of lifting the veil off of that to say like, hey, as a consumer, you are now more informed in the choices that you have or the products that are available for you. So I think that's kind of where the trend is at now, where the focus is at now, and it's just a huge benefit to consumers in general.
Yeah, it's obviously something that we've taken notice of here at GlobalPro. I mean, we're on the front lines, working with policyholders, working with insurance company professionals, whether they're representing the insurance company or representing the insurers themselves, brokers, policy, kind of really everything. From one side to the other and everything in between. But we've also noticed a lack of focus. Where are you seeing the lack of focus? Where do you think we can do better in the insurance tech industry?
Sure, totally. So just because we are now providing more products to show people what they can purchase, I think there is some improvement, some lack of focus in trying to get consumers to understand and I guess address the quality of what they've already purchased, right? So as a consumer, as either a personal or a business owner, when you go and you purchase a product, you kind of have all these questions, and then if you have to use it, well, you want to know what someone else's experience is, or someone in a similar situation as you, like what their experience was with a similar product. So I think there is this gap that needs to be filled that isn't really being focused on by these same companies that are bringing these new products to market right now. So if I were to sum it up, I think a product or a service that not only tells you what you can buy, but also just like how does the product that you have, how does it compare to what the market expectations are?
Yeah, and from our perspective, there's just a tremendous focus, obviously, on personal lines, something you just touched on, and really the adaptation of tools for business owners really seems to be a gap, and something that we constantly debate and deal with a lot of our business owner clients and working with them through understanding their coverages and things like that. So, and on the claim side of it, where do you see the biggest advantage for consumers with the growing investment in Insurtech? Where are they going to gain from this investment?
I mean, there's countless advantages to the consumers, right? But I think probably the biggest one that sticks out the most is that as a consumer, you are now in a position with all the information at your fingertips to be able to get the best value out of the product that you're purchasing. And I say best value because your purchases are now well informed, they're well researched. You have a better understanding of what you're actually purchasing as far as like policies, policy limits, coverages, and things like that. And then having those new products sort of informed and advised by companies like GlobalPro and other companies that advocate for consumer just knowledge, I think benefits the industry and the market as a whole. You know, I believe that a well-informed consumer that has access to, you know, a majority of tools and information makes better, well-informed decisions that provides value not only to themselves but to the market around them.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's leveraging those advantages too. You know, first off,
oh yes, absolutely, leveraging those advantages.
Yeah, it's just like we hear about the investments, we hear about the acquisitions. I wonder if there's actually, you know, who's tracking the use and who is modeling how people are leveraging this technology to actually benefit themselves and not just the industry. As they deliver new tools over, you know, more and more, and they refine them, you know, how are we measuring its impact, and how is it advantaging the consumer? We see a huge focus on the insurance company side of things, and there's you know, and how they're leveraging that to, you know, potentially derive more profit, or speed up the time it takes to actually get an indication from the market or deliver a quote to the consumer. But how is that advantage trickling down? But with every advantage that there may be, there's the other side of it, the failures. Where do you see where this is not working? Where is the failure in it?
Right. So, like with every major thing that you sort of launch, be it a personal product, a technical product, and things like that, there's always room for improvement. There's always things that kind of fall flat or whatever. I think with the recent kind of Insurtech products that have come out, some of the things that have not been addressed are, I think they're just harder to quantify in like a technology product. So this reminds me, Value Penguin is a resource. It's kind of like the Consumer Reports of like insurance and things like that. But basically, they did a study with a number of respondents and basically asking people, hey, you know, with the things that you have, the policies that you have, what are kind of like your pain points and things like that. So what that particular study uncovered is that of the, you know, I guess desires of consumers or what they want to improve, a big focus is on service. So be it service from their carriers when they're purchasing a policy or when they actually have to file a claim, or just understanding kind of like what, you know, what goes on, what's the behind the scenes, like why is the claim this value? Why is it denied or approved? Or why am I, you know, recovering as much or not as much? And so a lot of those questions become pain points that, you know, fortunately, while they are pain points now because people don't understand them, it's also an opportunity for, you know, either existing products or existing players in the market to either improve on those or actually build more products around those and kind of fixing those. So I think that's where the existing product offerings fall flat, because they're focusing more on like the how much to save or how fast to acquire insurance, but not necessarily focusing on, hey, how do I better understand? How do I get more out of what I already have?
Yeah, the days of the neighborhood agent or broker are long gone.
Right,
so,
exactly.
And we're doing all this at a distance. We saw a major IPO with Lemonade, which is an entirely 100% online platform. And one of the biggest complaints I read about, where it's being reported on, is no one actually knows how to get a hold of Lemonade. So, it's things like that, whether that's true or not, or said in jest or whatever it may be. Any of us have used Uber, and if you've had an issue with it, good luck. I love talking to people about Instagram or Facebook and trying to contact their service departments. It doesn't exist. Those are tech companies, right? So we're talking about tech. Are we going to see those same issues with these Insurtech products? Because we have those issues already. So is it going to trend upward or downward, or how are we going to fix it? And that's something that here at GlobalPro we've looked a lot about. And I want to get in that a little bit. Bit of a little self-promotion here, but whatever. Elliot, talk to us about a little bit about what GlobalPro is doing. How are we leveraging technology now and in the future?
No, sure. So I think one of the things that's very important in an industry like ours, where we deal with clients on a one-to-one basis, people, a majority of our clients, like, they can pick up a phone and they can call somebody and someone will actually pick up, or they don't have to send an email. So we're merging that technology, sort of like that customer service aspect, with the kind of personal touch or whatever. But here at GlobalPro, a lot of what we're doing, because we are dealing with just a high volume of just claims, and there are different types of claims. You've got personal property, you've got commercial property, all this data, we're creating tons and tons of data. And so what we are doing at GlobalPro is actually, now we're starting to take that data, pay attention to it, so that we can optimize our claims management process, so that we're better at doing our jobs. And by us being better at doing our jobs, we provide more of a value to our customers and to our clients. And also taking that, so that no longer are we just providing one service to them. We're providing a lifetime, a long-term service, where if something in that space comes up, GlobalPro is sort of on the top of their mind, saying, wow, I had a really good experience with these guys. They really know what they were talking about. They were able to answer all of my questions, and questions that I didn't even have. So I think taking the data from the claims that we have, and then both looking at it historically as well as where the trends going forward are, I think it allows us as a company to better serve our clients in our community. So that's kind of one of the aspects. And we've got a couple other things that I really don't want to talk about yet, because
let's not pull back the curtain yet.
We have to maintain some sort of advantage, but some of the products we do have in development right now are leveraging existing technologies, right? So for the past couple years, there's been a huge push, sort of migrating everything to cloud computing technologies. And you've got companies like Amazon and Microsoft and Google, where they have these technologies that they've now made available to companies, like us, small development shops like us, that we can now build tools, so we know what we want and what we want to build. And now these big giant companies are offering those resources, and, they're telling us, hey, this is how you build what you want to build. So again, just a little sneak peek.
Yeah, it's all about access, right? About efficiencies and processes, and we're trying to look at those processes, make them more efficient. We are, trying to maximize use of product, and obviously maximize access to information to be able to make better decisions. So I think it's really all culminated into some exciting projects. We're looking forward to those launch dates. I know Elliot and his team is working really hard in Washington, D.C. A little bit chillier there than here in sunny South Florida in the headquarters.
That's why we got
Yeah, we'll get you down here sooner or later. Enjoy this sunshine and cool breeze off the ocean. But until then, Elliot, being the voice of technology here at GlobalPro, how can our audience find out more about GlobalPro and all the great things that we're doing?
Sure. So, I mean, first stop is, go check out the website. It's getglobalpro.com. A lot of our, just kind of what we're doing in the community. There are different places on there. One thing to focus on, I think, is the launch of the new Claims Advocate newsletter. I think the marketing team just did an amazing job. It looks amazing. So I think like our clients, our existing clients, people that are just curious as to what we're doing, like they're going to find that and they're going to be blown away. We're also on all of the social media platforms. So check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram. Every now and then we've got like some Twitter going on. So that's pretty cool. And then also check us out on LinkedIn. One thing that I really like about GlobalPro, when I joined the company is that, everyone from the leadership all the way down to the people that are, actually helping and handling the claims, like everyone's accessible. And you can see that in our, in Instagram and in LinkedIn, where we're providing tidbits and nuggets
Absolutely.
Of knowledge, both about the company and just about, the industry in general.
I think in the digital age, transparency is key. I think we're doing our best we can here at GlobalPro as a small business, helping some very big businesses optimize their processes and as it relates to insurance and making the right decisions for them on an ongoing forward basis. So, Elliot, well, hey, my man, thank you. It's always great to have you on. Share a little bit of your knowledge, information. We'll have you back soon for the launch of our one of our tech projects. That's product offerings that's coming to market here in Q1. Very excited for that. And so we'll have you on, hopefully around the same time that happens, and to talk a little bit more about what problem is it solving, and how are we going to deliver it to the market. I think it'd be a very interesting topic, and I can't wait to have you on.
I can't wait to share it. Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right, guys, enjoy the day. Well, you heard it from Elliot. It's really easy to get a hold of us. Check us out online, getglobalpro.com. This broadcast, as well as all of our prior episodes of Recovery Live and our events and everything else, is easy. It's a click away. Check out our YouTube page, as well as our Facebook page, Instagram. We're obviously on Twitter, maybe not as active on there as we might have in the past, but really LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, Instagram are really our focus, because we want to deliver actionable information. We want to be credible. We want to be able to provide you things you can use as a business owner or as a community association in dealing with insurance, whether it's from the procurement and obtainment of a policy to the recovery from loss. So reach out to us, like us, follow us. All the information's there. It's on you to go find it. We'll obviously continue updating everyone, pushing out the emails, continuing broadcasts. I'm super excited to continue doing those things. We'll be back here next Thursday at 11 o'clock to continue our episodes of Recovery Report Live, and we hope you join us every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Have a great day, guys. Thank you again to Ellie for joining us, and tune in next week on the Recovery Report Live.